My name is Jack Shepherd and I moved to Skelmersdale in 2017 from the northeast of England, and I absolutely love living here in the diverse community that is Skelmersdale. And I've been married since the 30th of April this year to Emily, who works for a national charity called Welcome Churches. And Welcome Churches is all about no refugee being alone, that every refugee should be welcomed, particularly by a local church. And the church has an amazing story to tell about refugees. The Bible describes the entire story of why we are here, what the purpose of our lives and of the world is. And 4 sections of this story, from the beginning of the Bible to the end of the Bible. The first is that we were made by God. We were made in God's likeness and his image. And so there is something beautiful and wonderful about every human being. And we should treat every human being with dignity and respect. But then we see in the next few pages of the Bible what's described as the fall, that mistakes were made, and this is described in the book of Genesis through the story of Adam and Eve getting kicked out of the Garden of Eden. And ever since then, humanity has been searching for its home. That's why each one of us experiences sometimes a sense of loss and difficulty in our lives. And we see throughout the Old Testament stories of people trying to find their home. The Israelites who were kicked out of Egypt, who've been slaving away, building the pyramids, and who've been exploited by Pharaoh and his armies, are chased out of Egypt, and then they are searching for somewhere that they can call home. The patriarch Abraham, who recognised that God had an amazing place that he would be able to call home, searching in the early part of the Bible for somewhere that was his home. And then in the New Testament we see someone come from outside of this world, Jesus, who brings fulfillment to all the stories in the Bible. And Jesus could be described as a refugee, and we see the pain that he experienced on earth, particularly the pain of death on a cross, and the way that he came to bring transformation and hope to this world, including by caring for those who are ostracised and oppressed and alienated by society, bringing healing, often physical healing to people, but also that inner sense that people had found a home in him. And he calls us to seek justice and to seek the well-being of other people. And he gives us the strength to do that as well, by his Spirit coming to live in us, to do things and to love in a way that wasn't possible before. And then in the future we can look forward to a wonderful day where all nations, all people groups come together to worship God forever. And it's because we are one cosmic, multinational, multicultural family that we can recognise that we're to treat each other as a family here on earth. And ever since that time when Jesus came, and as we look forward to our eternal forever home, we have experienced a sense of being in isolation and searching for home. So we talk about how, as well as citizens of this earth, we are citizens of heaven, and obviously we're distant from our heavenly home in this present time. And many people who are refugees or asylum seekers, it's because they face persecution in the countries that they have come from, persecution for their faith, violence that they have faced for expressing their religious belief, often as Christians. And these are the real heroes of the Christian faith, the people that we should be celebrating and thanking and supporting for what they sacrificed to stand up for the Christian faith. And so this call to justice and to seek the healing and well-being, the transformation of this world so that it can be more like our forever home, is why we are invited to seek the well-being and care and welcome refugees. So if you go and see a children's nativity play, or if you hear the Christmas story, you'll think about Jesus and Mary and Joseph fleeing, running away from King Herod, because King Herod was killing all of the little children. And so Jesus actually had to hide in a different place, a place that he wasn't from, and a place that his family weren't initially planning to go to, because of the immediate danger that was facing him and his family as a result of political decisions. I think healing is a brilliant theme for us to think about as we thought about our forever home, being with God forever, being citizens of eternity, being children of God but living here on earth, looking for the place that we belong. We all experience pain and difficulty, suffering in different ways. That might be physical suffering, that might be emotional or spiritual suffering or longing, a sense of hurt or disappointment or emptiness or frustration. And God wants to bring his healing to each of these areas of our lives. One thing we talk about a lot these days in society is mental health. And that's often experienced as a result of trauma. We can experience that for all kinds of different reasons, often resulting from change or loss that we've experienced, grief in our lives. And particularly this whole area of mental health is an area that God wants to bring his healing and his hope and his peace and joy. Ooh. I'm stopped on that one.